I think what's so incredible about being able to build in tech is that you feel like you can do anything. Nothing seems too far out of reach. If you have an idea, you could just crack on and see if you can build it. And I think that's probably a sentiment that most people in tech share, is that you have the power to build your vision. And that's just a very powerful feeling to have.
The aim for EF really is just to bring these great people together. Many of them we actually know, maybe individually, so some talent investor in the team might know one of these people and thinks that this person would be a great fit for an event like this, where it's not quite a hackathon, it's much more kind of intimate than that. And they would benefit from being in a group of people kind of outside of their local maximum.
And we told them that we had like over 700 people apply for the last 2 builders retreats, and we chose 15 of them. So they're with a very like high talent density group of people.
Everyone here is surrounded by really, really great individuals, maybe at work or through their university degree. We want them to think about what it looks like when they step outside of these peer groups, what kind of level of excellence they need to compare themselves to. And we want to provide them with a room that actually allows them to see like, oh wow, there are other really, really great individuals out there.
I find the entrepreneurial energy very contagious and inspiring. I had met a couple of people at EF through hackathons and some events that are happening around London in tech. Through that, they were able to share with me that they were organizing this builders retreat, and it just sounded very exciting. So just wanted to come and see how that goes.
I don't know. Patrick just told me to come. I didn't really measure my my expectations to the retreat. To be honest, I wasn't sure if I would have anything to work on specifically this weekend, right? Apart from work, and he's not going to allow me to work on work stuff. What I told him is priority for me is to kind of like just mingle with everyone and see what everyone else is working on. Stop being so focused on exactly what you're doing, just seeing what other adjacent innovations are other people are working on, and that's something that I wish I had more time to. And I think Patrick is just forcing me to block out a weekend to speak to people, see what other cool stuff people are doing, just kind of refresh my mind in that way, and sleep if possible.
If I'm being completely honest, when I signed up, I thought this was like a 3-day hackathon. Looking at the schedule, it is not that. I am looking forward to the fireside chats and speaking to, hearing from people who are kind of quite experienced in founding, which is not something I know a lot about.
So what appealed to me about this retreat was that, one, it was a unique experience to just get into one location with several other builders next to me, whether they being on the technical or, let's say, entrepreneurial side of things. I wanted to meet more like-minded people. And, that's a very common answer, but it's true, because that type of feeling of being surrounded by individuals that are similar to you is quite rare.
I know Patrick, I know Maria, and they were like, right, you're going to just go to the countryside to just do what you want to do anyway, and there will be really cool people. I was like, sweet. So you're paying for me to go to the countryside to do what I like to do and meet cool people. I was like, yes, please, I'll do that.
It's 15 people, the creme de la creme from across Europe and the UK, all very, very well accomplished, all extremely technically proficient. So literally just these like few hours that we've been hanging out, I've already gotten like 2-3 pieces of information and stuff that I've learned where I was like, oh, whoa, that's actually quite useful.
Spending a lot of my time just talking to people, trying to meet other people who have kind of the energy that I want to surround myself with, and see where I can use my experience to apply it to interesting areas. So no particular idea, but looking at a bunch of things.
Getting a lot of different perspectives and seeing what people can actually crack out and build in, I don't know, a couple of days, that's going to be really interesting. Like the bar's going to be pretty high, and I'm excited for that.
I guess today they'll be feeling energized by the quality of people in the room, and also because everyone here has been selected because they're really good, and we need them to show it. And excited because they're going to build something where they have no distractions, and they're just going to build for an entire weekend. Hopefully get to know everyone, get some partnerships going, learn from other people, get to display their skills, use the time, and sleep is for the week.
At the end of the day, the most important thing is that people actually have a very good time, and that sometimes means that you should be really flexible in terms of how much time they spend on the laptop actually building what they wanted to build, versus how much time they're spending with other people discussing their current projects, maybe some bottlenecks, and how these other people can actually help them out.
No one gonna be lower.
8 minutes. Yes, let's go. I knew that.
Well done, Chris.
Well played.
And now with that.
Good call. Good call.
Last night, give us the deets.
So honestly, I tried to spend the first night to just try to make some friends, enjoy myself a bit, get to know the people, and so I found some people that were just willing to laugh, have fun, mess around, and that's what I'm kind of also looking for too, because what I love doing is I love building serious shit with also fucking around at the same time. And so I'm glad I found some other people that are willing to do that at the same time. You know, there are many other crack people that are just focusing fully on building from the get-go. I wanted to start off chill, and then having those friends in mind, those relationships that can span long term. Today I can just go full in and work.
So I did not come with concrete ideas. I have an idea in what the direction I want to go. Like I want to build something for some B2B things and maybe something that I will turn to a product, but nothing very concrete yet, no.
It was quite nice having the train ride. I had like 2 hours just to not have like bad Wi-Fi and just write notes. So I think I've got like a decent plan, at least right now. Come back to me in 3 days' time when everything's failed. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So I was coming to this retreat with certain like ideas for pivots that I would be exploring after the retreat as well. But now listening to the story of different people, I think there are like a lot of good ideas to collaborate with and kind of build this relationship and take this relationship away from the retreat once we come back to London.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking about building this weekend, I've been doing a lot of work with MCP. So we're working on making an integrations hub that allows anyone to create their own AI integrations and connect them to platforms like Claude Desktop or to Cursor or to like another AI like client. So it's quite techy, but it should be fun. And the end goal is to let my like grandma be able to, I don't know, order her shopping with AI in a chat application would be pretty cool. But we've got quite a long way to go till then.
Most people at the start were already heads down building. Maybe less so actually than we expected, but once we kind of told people this is what they're here for and that loads of people, you know, wanted to be part of this, I think people started like really taking it very seriously.
I made it late to the house, so the idea I had is something that maybe took a bit more time than what I'll be having. So instead I joined a friend of mine that was also in the house, and we'll be working together in the same project, which was kind of it's something that both of us have been wanted to work on and get into for a while, and this felt like the best time to actually do that.
So I've been working with Carlos, who's also from the same university as I am, and we've been working in the same teams for different associations. Essentially what we wanted to do was use something called Gaussian splatting, where we go from 2D to 3D. So what we want to do is essentially, let's say you get a 3D model of this room itself, such that we can actually annotate different parts of the room, which can help with different architecture planning, etc., as well as potentially using a bit of Gen AI to change the theme. So let's say if I wanted to make the theme of this room itself a cyberpunk theme or more like a jungle theme, and so that's what we've been working on and trying to get there.
I've got one idea, which is basically I get way too many notifications, and it stresses me out, probably stresses everybody out, and I just want to build something that will help synthesize all of the information that's on my phone into like a nice, much easier to use way. So I'm imagining almost like Ask Perplexity, but for every single message that I have on my phone. And I can also like answer stuff that I have questions about, answer stuff about me, answer stuff about who's been texting me, which is a bit quick.
So, well, I've been playing around with a few different ideas, but the thing that I most want to build, or I'm most interested in building, is something that leverages open banking, which the UK as well as the EU have made into law. Basically, a lot of independent stores, if you think of your local corner shop or your local chippy, they have to spend tens of thousands of pounds on card transaction fees, which can sometimes be exorbitant, like 4.5%, which is absolutely ludicrous, which is why a lot of them prefer cash. I want to build something that essentially is a payment terminal that leverages open banking. So if you imagine you tap your phone onto it, instead of it opening Google Wallet or Apple Pay, it'll open up your bank app, and all you have to do is do your one-click approve, and it'll be a bank transfer. So the account details, sort code, and all of that's already filled in. And then because it's a bank transfer, it's fully free. So all of these independent small stores, restaurants or whatnot, don't have to spend the tens of thousands of pounds of these ludicrous card processing companies.
I'm thinking like, I had this idea of like founding a company at some point, but a lot of it is just like who you know, and there's a scene in London, and I'm trying to worm my way into that in some ways. So I've been working on something with a mate of mine who works at a VC, sort of automating some of his workflow and some of the like research parts of his job. I have a prototype of that that's like a little shitty, and I'm gonna try out like a few new technologies to make it a bit more production grade.
I think it's really rare that you're in a room with people who are like incredibly talented, incredibly smart, have done like very interesting and like relatable and relevant things to you. This is a room of like extremely skilled software engineers who work at like some of the top tech companies in the world. And what I've just been telling them is like, this is your chance to like extract value from the people around you. So I think everybody has kind of a different kind of help that they can give.
I met Khalid, who is also a founder, a serial founder, and we decided to collab on, payment processing app that would, in a sense, automate point of sale, like undercutting Amex, Visa, MasterCard, and in a sense, just creating an open banking.
The way we kind of fell into it was he wanted to build something else and sort of realized that he wouldn't be able to build it. And he said, hey, I really liked what you wanted to do. Can I help? So yeah, sure, why not?
I think we had some challenges with actually like testing and getting the API endpoints sorted, and there was a bit of kind of debate over what is the tech stack, appropriate tech stack for the demo. Is it like TypeScript or Fast API? So now we're just splitting the work and power pushing all the way down to the demo.
The first night of building, I think went pretty well. Obviously, some unexpected barriers which were a little bit annoying because it's a weekend. The first one is we can't access the official open banking APIs or like registered dev accounts with any of the banks directly. Basically what that means is we can't use a live bank account onto the terminal. The other thing we also realized was the card emulators that we had before, one, they have too small storage, and then two, phones actually don't read the tag nicely. So for the action to actually execute, it doesn't work. We've just ordered the new ones, and I've just run the NFC read on it, and these should work perfectly.
I'm building a WhatsApp bot, so I get like way too many messages and I just end up missing them. So I'm trying to build a bot that lets me mute all of those group chats, and then whenever something that's popping off relative to what I'm interested in, it will like personally DM me and say like, oh Leo, right now, like hop on the message right now, hop on the group chat right now. But also like it'll give me like a daily summary of like some group chats that I'm in.
I've got two tools called Pigeon Vision and Pigeon Watch, which I'm working on. Pigeon Vision is sort of you give it like a URL or a website or an email address, and it will tell you how malicious it is. It'll come up with sort of a percentage score, and it gives you a lot of detail on why we think it's kind of that level of maliciousness. Pigeon Watch is sort of a crime mapping tool for England. In terms of progress, I've sort of added more integrations with Pigeon Vision, and I'm working on sort of an email authentication thing for getting an API key, which will be rate limited because the actual sort of API used by the website is behind turnstile for each query, so you can't just sort of spam that with requests automatically.
Actually never would have guessed that Tom, who's like kind of more timid, and Pedro, who's definitely like more of an energy kind of nuclear bomb in a sense, would get on so well and discuss hyperspectral satellite imaging and how Pedro can help out Tom with his current project, mapping out crimes all around the UK.
Basically, he's working on something really, really cool where you have a way to filter for different types of crime data based on the region. So if you're moving flats, for example, will be a way for you to know like what's the crime, what's like, crime data on that region that you're planning to move to. However, I think police stations do not give a lot of granularity on that data to the public. So they might say that a given crime might happen in a specific area, but they will only tell you the month in which it happened, or like last 30 days. But, I kept speaking with, for example, with Tom on the stuff he was doing yesterday. And hopefully I'll hear back from the people I tried to get him in contact with, and then he can get the ball rolling. Or, for example, the other guys that were working on like the open banking stuff, like unfortunately there's not much I can do over the weekend, but then next week I hope I can put them in contact with people that might be able to see if there's anything that can be unblocked.
There's a thing that people might have heard about, it's called the internet, and there are sometimes bad things on the internet. I built a tool which you give it a thing and it will tell you if it's bad, if it's on the internet.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, so I mean, you could have, say, a URL that you've been sent and you might think it's dodgy. You throw it into here, it'll check a bunch of sources, those sources have weights, and they'll give a certainty for how malicious that specific source thinks that thing is.
The state where we are right now to, tomorrow's demo is really providing some UI analytics for merchants. So like enabling merchants to actually analyze, all the transactions that go through their terminals and own this data instead of actually, relying on Square or like another terminal company to actually, or SumUp to actually, buy this data at additional cost. So that would be quite nice, as well as just doing some cleaning, ETL cleaning, piping, just, some edge cases testing, as well as yesterday Khalid ordered a new NFC terminal. We had some debate over whether the demo should be just phone to phone using NFC integrated functions, or we should just like use actual external NFC reader that could be plugged into a laptop. So that was an interesting take, but that's the bridge we're about to cross.
We've managed to get the amount in there, the reference, all of that stuff, and they just have to click confirm. And then on the other end, we do get the confirmation as well on the merchant's terminal. It's like, yes, the payment has come through. So pretty much everything done. For proof of concept, we do now know that it's technically viable to have basically fee-free, easy payment everywhere in the UK and Europe. I used to think it was just because they didn't want to pay tax. So it's just like bring in cash and we don't declare it. But apparently it isn't. It's because they want to avoid these ludicrous fees.
What I've been building, I've essentially rebuilt everything that I had before from scratch using a few new technologies or different ways of doing it. Essentially what we've got here is a file system on the left and a chat system. By the end of the day, by the demo, I'm going to sort of put that into a nicer UI so that you can see what's being generated. But essentially what happens is we take folders, and then what we do is we attach assistants to folders. So you can add any number of assistants that do specific processes that you're trying to automate. You can attach them to folders. So let's throw in object artifact if it works. What I've been doing most of the weekend is sort of the infrastructure around it to make sure that like this system can actually work and is extensible. I spent like 2 hours just on my laptop mapping out like an actual to-do list, which is, I never do that essentially. What the agents are doing is pretty generic right now. It's just summarizing things, but I've kind of built the building blocks of the system to hopefully enable people to start to create their own agents here or their own assistants here and do more of their work more easily.
Today I'm going to work on how people can generate these integrations, just using AI. The difficult thing is going to be with the user experience. How do we make that feel nice to go through the application? Been building some UX improvements with my integration hub. So you can now open these integrations, directly connect them to some of the popular apps like Cursor and Claude. Yeah, still on the mission to make it easy for my grandma to use. Not quite there yet. Still got a long way to go, if I'm quite completely honest. Nice to get first few users as well. We're gonna go publicly launch it next week, I think, if I get my act together. It's super easy to use the amenities and like hang out and go to the pool and not get anything done, but then you'll have nothing to show for demos, and no one wants that. So yeah, use the demo as a forcing function. So I wanted to make something that allowed people to actually create their own integrations. So the idea is that my grandma could do this. At the moment, she definitely couldn't, but we're gonna move there. I have faith.
I've been trying to work on kind of like a system that can use phones to go through iOS applications, figure out what they do, and then try and find bugs in them. And honestly, it was kind of probably late night, 12 o'clock last night when I was in that room over there with Leo and Patrick, and we were going through some of the stuff that I'd been doing. And Patrick said, hey, have you tried just feeding all the video into Gemini? It did everything that I was trying to do anyway. So that was quite a big learning.
Just a quick one, because we're at time. What have you learned through building it?
The things never go the way you expect them to.
I think, or at least I try to be, a sort of, intellectually honest, in the sense that I think that the best idea should always win, no matter sort of who it comes from. If you present, and this happened with Victor last night actually, something that, like, I have an idea, and you present something that's contrary to that, I think if it's sufficiently convincing, or like sort of grounded in some truth, I'm quite easy to flip and go like, okay, you know what, actually, fair enough, that is better than what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think the matching characteristics between me and Khaled is that we are both focused on community and, so we both surf, we both into mind games, including chess and Go, and we are both interested in actually connected with like-minded individuals from different industries and, seeing where we can collaborate and help each other.
I think the most important thing to us is that people are intentional about how they spend their time. Like Maria said, if what they want to do is spend some time meeting the other great people that are here, that's fantastic. There's always a trade-off. You want people to build something really cool they look back at, but this is just such a fantastic opportunity to meet other people like them in all sorts of different domains that they just wouldn't have come across. So socializing is never a bad thing. I think it's just like letting them choose how much they want to do of both.
That's kind of the reason that I'm here in many ways. I'm trying to put myself out there a bit more, which I don't do enough. It's just like put yourself in spaces with people that are doing similar sort of things and see what you can build together. Sometimes hard to motivate yourself. I kind of live on my own, so therefore have all the problems with living on your own, where you're just like, you are your own boss. You don't have the sort of external pressure, and I think I need external pressure to do good things a lot of the time. So that's like been the nicest benefit for me.
The EF team has not been putting too much pressure on us to kind of come up with anything, in the sense that I was very honest with them. I said like, I really wanted to take this time to do what I cannot do on a day-to-day basis, and it's just like explore. So I think that for them is the biggest thing that I could give them is that I tell them like, thank you very much, guys. I've actually done what I really wanted. I got to explore and I got to try different things, and I didn't feel constrained that, oh my God, I have 2 hours to put up a demo. Like I'll have 2 hours to say, how we think that this thing can only be done in way A. Actually, you can do it in way B, which is way simpler than way A.
I think to get any project off the ground, you have to have like some sustained time thinking about it. And that's what's really nice about coming away from London, away from like things that I'd have to do on a day-to-day basis, and just really think about my idea a little bit and the idea of this project.
For me, having all these people around that throw out ideas that we can immediately try and learn from, that's what I love.
There are sides to these technologies that I've not played with, and they've gone like super duper deep. And so they've got like a full year of experience working with something that I'm like literally brain dump, please. You've now synthesized 1 year of like knowledge learning and given it to me in 5 minutes. Like, I think that's really the biggest thing that you can get from it.
Having some incredible guests coming along to give us those side chats and sessions that will help not only broaden our vision, but also understand how to navigate, what it's like to found a company and how to navigate that. And also just being able to set aside some focus time where you're just branching out into a project, trying out something different.
But who knows, one day if I ever build something on my own, I need to incorporate them into the workflow in some way. I know I have a good selection of people to choose from.
Yeah, I would say that it's mostly like the connections made and the conversations with. Like I had a really good conversation with Tom yesterday. It was really interesting to see how he's doing stuff, where he's coming from. He also came here with not having something commercial in mind, but just building something and talking to people. That was very nice to hear.
When they got here, it was definitely a lot more chill, and then we managed to switch the gears pretty quickly, so that had a good impact, I think.
Overall, I think people are having a great time. They've met loads of people that I'm sure they'll stay in touch with, which is ultimately the goal.